But when you have your entire practice has been in dealing with writers and multiple sort of areas and time zones, the group show is a logical outflow of that. That's one. The other has been that how do you address a period? How do you address an archive if you do not actually try to excavate what was a whole plethora of material which was perhaps there? In the exhibition, for instance, in the National Museum, starts with Cartier-Bresson and Cartier-Bresson's images of the death of Gandhi and what that does to the nation, Nehru addressing the nation, because that was Imaging India, Middle Age Spread, Imaging India, 1947 to 2004. But after that, you could draw a blank almost until you come to Raghu Rai, which is the mid-60s. And because there hadn't been any work done on what can now be described as the official photographer. And I was able to excavate one or two figures at that point, people like R.D. Chopra. You know, their photographs were lying with their family in a little suitcase, forgotten, untouched. But they were very significant because every morning Pandit Nehru would have breakfast with photographers. He was obviously a very media-savvy man. He'd got his media absolutely where he wanted him because they wouldn't take a picture of him smoking, for instance. None of us has seen a picture of Panditji smoking. Homai did one, but that's only the one exception. R.D. Chopra didn't. He respected that. But we were able to excavate R.D. Chopra and put him in there. So when the exhibition moves, and you move from, say, Cartier-Bresson through R.D. Chopra to S. Paul, you're able to fill in links. And I think this is actually the great value of the group show, that everybody has to bring in something of immense value to your curatorial vision.
Social formulations is something you were really keen on showing. Can we talk about your show After Dark in 2003, 2004? I think it took place around that time. So can we talk about After Dark a bit, and then we're going to move on to Frame Grid Room Cell that you did for Bodhi?
Sorry, we're jumping and we don't have images to show you, but I'll try to describe.
We'll have to make a compromise
we'll have to sort of narrativize this a little bit. To talk about why does a social context become material, I have to say that a curated exhibition is deeply collaborative. It isn't that you just think up of something, send out a concept note, 8 months later receive a whole lot of art objects and hang them. I think there is a constant dialoguing that takes place, and somewhere within the mind of the curator, especially when artworks are being created around a social proposition or a sociological proposition, I think there is a certain degree of flexibility and interest that the curator carries. After Dark was really in my response to an exhibition I had seen, which was Aucoin and Visor's Documenta. And Aucoin and Visor's Documenta was deeply polemical. And I was interested in returning to perhaps an aesthetic, perhaps a more local aesthetic. That was one. There was also, so After Dark, I think, was opening up that possibility. The other was, how do we define the notion of darkness in a rapidly changing social situation? India, as it has grown, has created some areas of immense illumination. Your streets, for instance, your city streets as they illuminate, but also great areas of darkness. So, for instance, the flyover will connect or illuminate one point to the next and create a pool of darkness underneath. And I'm interested in how the areas in which we live can reveal themselves entirely differently in the daylight and completely differently in darkness. So there was this suggestion. The time frame, I tend to work over a longish, I know some critics or curators can put together shows very quickly. I like a longish time frame for an idea to gestate and to move. In this time frame, there was, of course, Iraq. Iraq exploded. And Iraq exploded in the Indian mindset in a way which was remarkable. We have to understand that no curator could have understood or anticipated the response that the Indian artist is going to give to Iraq, to Afghanistan, and the genocide in the Central and West Asian area. There has been an entire body of work that came about. And luckily, in a certain sense, After Dark was one of the exhibitions that caught this very early. So if I was talking to Anita Dubey about one set of propositions, she responded to Iraq and created works which had, these sirens. So we created a room for her where these sirens just wailed and the map of Iraq was on the ground, and these were jagged pieces of glass. And she created the notion of the smashed monument. That was one. There was also the very strong artistic response to Godra. So Jogin Chaudhary, for instance, created very large images of, the woman who was pregnant and whose child was impaled on a trishul. It was one of the most horrific, sort of descriptions in the newspaper, and the artist converted this into an image. Ranbir Kalekar responded to After Dark with one of his most significant paintings. So this was the way it happened. So what started out as a very personal premise for me then becomes an intensely sociological exhibition.
Yes.
That's the way it worked.
Yes, taking a cue from that, geographical resonance was constantly appearing and reappearing in works of artists right after that. So, in the globalized era, and there has also been a shift in the loci of their interest. Yeah. What are some of your observations about this shift in the shift of the loci, I mean? Because a lot of artists had been responding to the incidents that were taking place in the rest of the world. And I remember your write-up in Art India.
On terror.
Yes, on Art and Terror, where you had sort of addressed some of these issues. Could you talk a bit about that?
It's becoming a huge issue. And it's affecting the way we are able to deal with art. There was an exhibition that I'm supposed to open on April 1 in Bombay. It was India and Pakistan. This is something that was a co-curated exhibition between me and Kudus Mirza. And this is something that we'd worked very hard to try to achieve. The space had been booked in the Prince of Wales because we were looking at the mutation of the miniature into a more contemporary frame. In this time, Rahat Fateh Ali Khan gets arrested for carrying money into Pakistan. And the backlash is enormous because now the Interior Ministry of Pakistan has set up a law that anybody whose passport says artist has to get an NOC from the Interior Ministry. So the entire project starts to fall. Of course, with this kind of destabilizing of the artistic or the curatorial vision, Afghanistan, Iraq, there has to be a very powerful response. And I think it's really interesting that we haven't responded to the modernities on the postmodern development so much of the Far East as we have to the West Asian. This has become very much a geography of consideration. You can immediately think of Atul Dodia and his Afghan women. You can think of Anita Dubey. There has been a sort of embrace of a certain geography as a ground for a discussion of humanity. I think that's very important. And you'd asked about frame grid room cell.
Yes, and also about the method of display you followed in frame grid room cell, if there was.
Yeah, this was interesting because this was an exhibition that I did in the Bodhi Art Gallery. Sharmishta was still director of that space. And we built rooms. Now, why would you want to build rooms? I think this was in a gallery. A gallery is meant to be the open white cube, etc. I think this was my response to the city of Bombay. Every time you drive into the city of Bombay from the airport, it's the rectilinear building, grill, doorway, window, flat, which hits you so hard. It's the framing is actually being done for how you receive the city within these rectilinear grids. The grid of the city was something that hit me. And I was wondering about how do I receive it? Because there is something that is obscured and there is something that is being revealed. And for me, the possibility of creating rooms within a gallery is to control viewership in pretty much the same way. When you use a white cube flat, as in this room, plant works across the walls. They annotate each other. The eyeball bounces with the turn of the head, and you can make connections, make derivations, contradictions. The way you receive it is entirely different. But if you're confronted with 6 rooms or 4 rooms, how do you enter it? How do you exit it? Is actually a very idiosyncratic, individual way of receiving it. And you might then reconstruct the show when you come out. So that's what I did. And I think it also allowed for light. The artist's control over light is sometimes one of the most vexed aspects of an exhibition. I liked the way that one could actually allow an artist to illuminate to the point that they needed. And people like Riaz Komu use this extremely successfully.